Dear students, today we are going to discuss about OFDM, that is orthogonal frequency division multiplexing or multiple access technique. Okay, so nowadays we are using this OFDM technique. Actually, this is a multi-carrier modulation scheme and we are using this scheme in our communication systems. Okay, Wi-Fi uses this, WiMAX uses this. There are several applications or several technologies are using this OFDM, that is multi-carrier modulation scheme. So actually this is advanced version of frequency division multiplexing. Here you can see that FDM, which is frequency division multiplexing. So it is a modified form of that frequency division multiplexing. In the case of frequency division multiplexing, actually what happens is, you know that in the case of frequency division multiplexing, the complete bandwidth that is available for communication is divided into different sub-frequency bands. Okay, so that sub-frequency bands, we will assign a user for a particular band. That means user 1 will use this band, user 2 will be using this band, user 3 using this band, like that. And this adjacent bands will be separated by a guard band. Okay, so some frequencies allotted for this band and some band of frequencies allotted for guard band. So actually this guard band does not contain any information, so the information will be sent through this band of frequencies which is utilized by the user. Okay, so if we want to increase the number of users, we have to reduce the bandwidth of these individual bands. So whenever we are reducing this individual bandwidth of the user, then the data rate will be reducing. So the increase of the number increase, or if we are trying to incorporate more users in a particular bandwidth, then the data rate will be reduced in the case of FDM. If we are using FDM technology, the increase in the number of users will reduce the data rate. That means it reduces the efficiency of the bandwidth. So that means the bandwidth efficiency is less in the case of FDM if we are trying to increase the users. So we have to go for another technology, that is the OFDM, that is orthogonal frequency division multiplexing. And in this case, we are not using guard bands in between each frequency. Actually, for a particular user here, a single frequency F1 is used as a carrier frequency, and we will be modulating the data of that user by using this F1 and using this F2. In the case of second user, we will be modulating the data coming from the user 2 with F2, like that. That is the process taking place in the case of FDM. Okay, but in the case of orthogonal frequency division multiplexing, what here we are doing is that we will be using different subcarriers. That means a single channel also uses different subcarriers, and these subcarriers are overlapped to each other. Whenever they are overlapping, there is no intersymbol interference. Here in the case of FDM, whenever we are increasing the user without guard band, then there will be intersymbol interference due to multipath propagation or due to frequency selective fading. Okay, that is in the case of FDM. But here we are using for every channel, that means the complete bandwidth is divided into different channels like channel 1, channel 2, channel 3, and each channel also contains different subcarrier frequencies. Instead of a single frequency, it is containing different subcarriers, and these subcarriers are orthogonal to each other, and that is important property, that they are orthogonal to each other, and they are actually overlapped to each other. Once they are overlapping each other, you can see different subcarrier frequencies are arranged like this. They are overlapped to each other, but actually there is no intersymbol interference when we are communicating by using these orthogonal subcarriers, that we can see later. Okay, so let us see. The OFDM is a multi-carrier modulation technique. So here you can see that different subcarriers are there. So we are calling it as a multi-carrier modulation technique, and in which each carrier may employ one of the several available digital modulation technique such as BPSK, QPSK, QAM. Since here there are different multi-carrier frequencies, and each of these frequencies can utilize any of the frequency modulation technique. You know that once a user is transmitting data, and here in the case of FDM, the user 1 will transmit this data using this frequency F1 alone, but here the user can transmit its data using different frequencies because the subcarrier frequency is different, because and they are also orthogonal to each other. So he can send the data by using suppose if we are sending a data stream, and he can send a particular part of the data stream by using the modulation scheme BPSK, and he can also send the data stream by using the another part of the data can be modulated by using the scheme QPSK, QAM, like that. So that is the advantages of OFDM. That is, OFDM is a multi-carrier modulation technique in which each carrier may employ one of the several available digital modulation technique. That is the speciality of this orthogonal subcarriers, because we are using different carriers, they can undergo different type of modulation. That is depends upon our need. Okay, we can select which modulation scheme we have to use. Okay. So since they are not overlapping, we can incorporate more users within this band. Okay, sometimes user 1, user 2, user 3 may be utilizing this band, single band. Here a single band is utilized by single user, so we can increase the number of users within this band because they are all utilizing different subcarriers. Okay, and here also you can see here that a small gad band is provided between the channel, that is for reducing the inter-symbol interference. Okay, otherwise there is no space in between these subcarriers. Okay, and here I have drawn with indicating that there are 7 subcarriers. You can notice 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 7 subcarriers are there, and they are overlapped to each other. That is for taking an example, and it's, in the modern technology, in a channel there will be 2048. In the case of 20 megahertz spectrum, complete 20 megahertz spectrum, there will be 2048 subcarriers in a channel. Okay, so this is for an example. I have taken 7 subcarriers. Okay, orthogonal subcarriers. Okay, so in the case of FDM, the complete bandwidth is divided into different subbands, and each user is assigned with a particular band, and guard bands are included between subbands, and all the users can communicate simultaneously. See, here also the users can communicate simultaneously because different users are using different frequency as the carrier. Okay, similarly here also different users will be utilizing different subcarriers, so also they can communicate simultaneously. At the same time they can send data. Okay, when we increase the number of users, the bandwidth utilization reduces in the case of FDM because data rate reduces, but this decreases the bandwidth efficiency and data rate. Also ISA may occur in FDM if no guard band is there. Due to the multipath propagation, FDM signals may undergo frequency selective fading. So here is an alternative, that is OFDM. OFDM increases the number of users within the same bandwidth without any guard bands between the users or frequency bands. So here what is the importance of OFDM? Increases the number of users within the same bandwidth, that is within the same bandwidth it increases the number of users without any guard bands within the users. That means you can see that there is no guard bands between these multi carriers. Okay, between the users. Okay, so how it is possible? Because different orthogonal subcarriers, here the subcarrier used is a sync pulse. You know that what is a sync pulse? Basically, if we are taking a rectangular pulse, and when we are taking the Fourier transform of this rectangular pulse, we will be obtaining the sync pulse that you have studied in the second module. Okay, whenever we are taking the Fourier transform of rectangular pulse, Fourier transform will give you sync pulses, and you know you have studied about the sync pulse. Whenever you studied about the condition for 0 ISI, you know that sync pulse has a 0 ISI. Theoretically speaking, sync pulse has 0 ISI. That feature we are utilizing here, that we have studied in the second module, okay, of the digital communication. So you can go through that portion. So this sync pulse will provide 0 ISI. That is why we are utilizing the subcarrier as the sync pulses. Okay, so here different pulses are using. Okay, so this all will be a sync pulses, and we are taking orthogonal sync pulses. Whenever two adjacent sync pulses is multiplied, it will give you a 0 value. Okay, you know that is orthogonal property. Okay, so different orthogonal subcarriers are sync pulses is used, and they are overlapped to each other. And OFDM, we can say OFDM is a subset of frequency division multiplexing. That means it is a subset of FDM. in which a single channel utilizes multiple subcarriers on adjacent frequencies. In addition, the subcarriers in an OFDM system are overlapping to maximize spectral efficiency. Why we design this is as overlapping? Because whenever it is overlapping means that their spacing is they are placed adjacent to each other. That means there is not much frequency difference between these. That is why we are placing adjacent to each other. That is, it look like a overlapping each other. Okay, so it is for increasing the number of users. That is why they are increasing the spectral efficiency. Okay, so this is an important point, that is OFDM is a subset of frequency division multiplexing in which a single channel utilizes multiple subcarriers on adjacent frequencies. So these subcarriers will be having adjacent frequencies. So if one is at 1 kilohertz, then other will be 15 kilohertz and other will be 30 kilohertz. That means the separation between them is less. Okay, in addition to when comparing to the complete bandwidth. Suppose the complete bandwidth is 20 megahertz, then the separation is, if the separation between adjacent subcarriers 15 kilohertz is lesser, because other one is megahertz and this is kilohertz. This is in the range of kilohertz. Okay. In addition, the subcarriers in an OFDM system are overlapping to maximize spectral efficiency. So whenever they are overlapping, it increases the number of users. As a result, it will increase the bandwidth efficiency. Okay. In OFDM, the adjacent frequency bands are overlapped even though there is no ISI. In overlapping, in OFDM we are using sync pulses as orthogonal subcarriers. And here, each user data is transmitted with different orthogonal subcarriers. For example, you can see here, here is the OFDM signal, and this is the channel 1. It contains 7 subcarriers at different frequencies, F1, F2, etc. up to F7. These are different subcarriers. It is marked here. Okay, so you suppose user 1 is utilizing this one of the subcarrier, then you can draw the user 1 corresponding subcarrier like this. See, this is a subcarrier corresponding to user 1. Here you can see this is a subcarrier. So it is a sync pulse. Okay, actually that is locating at this point. Its maximum corresponding to this frequency. Okay, suppose this, and the other subcarrier is, suppose we are taking a separation of this subcarriers is 15 kilohertz. So at the next 15 kilohertz, this other subcarrier peak will occur. So first of all, what we have to do is we have to mark 15 kilohertz separation. Then first subcarrier maximum will lie at this point, and after a 15 kilohertz separation, second subcarrier maximum will occur, and we can draw the complete that sync pulse like this. So this is a second subcarrier. Okay, next before this one there is a 15 kilohertz separation. There is also third subcarrier. You can see here that move along with this red spot. Okay, so this is the third subcarrier. Okay, so these subcarriers are separated at a distance of 15 kilohertz. That is for taking as an example. Okay, so 15 kilohertz, and here we are telling that here, for example, user 1 data is transmitted by the first subcarrier, and user 2 data is transmitted by this subcarrier 2. User 3 data is transmitted by subcarrier 3. So user 1 data is modulated by using this subcarrier. Okay, and user 2 data is modulated by using this subcarrier. Okay, and user 3 data is modulated by using this subcarrier. Okay, so these subcarriers can use different modulation schemes. So that is according to our design. Sometimes it may use BPSK and it may be using BFSK or any other schemes. Okay, that depends upon our design. Okay, and suppose each subcarrier is separated by 15 kilohertz apart, and whenever they are 15 kilohertz apart, that means the symbol duration will be equal to 15 kilohertz is the frequency separation, so duration will be 1 by frequency. Okay, time period will be 1 by frequency, so 1 by 15 kilohertz will be the symbol duration, that is equal to 66.67 microsecond. So whenever we are transmitting a symbol by user 1, and user 2 will be transmitting the symbol after 66 user 1 will transmit in the second symbol after 66.67 microsecond. That is the meaning of the symbol duration. Okay, one symbol will take 66.67 seconds. Okay, then the other symbol will be taking another 66.67. So that is the duration of the symbol. Okay, from figure you can see there is overlapping, but the maximum of first subcarrier lies at the null of the two other subcarriers. Similarly, the maximum of subcarrier 2 lies at the null of other two subcarriers. You can see here that it is overlapping each other. Sometimes you may be expecting that there is ISI, but you can see here that if you are noting at this point here, a circle is marked at this point, which subcarrier has the maximum value, this first subcarrier. And whenever you are considering the second and the third subcarrier, its null will be obtaining at this point. Okay, so at this point only one subcarrier will have a maximum value, other two are null. Okay, so they will be practically different. Okay, so whenever you are using this point, you can see at this point the second subcarrier maximum lies at this point, and what happened to other two subcarriers, its null is appearing here the third subcarrier null is here and the first subcarrier null is here. So whenever we are seeing it theoretically, you can say that there is overlapping. Okay, but there is no ISI, because you can easily distinguish this subcarrier from other two subcarrier, because it is the maximum of this subcarrier. That is only one maximum occur at this point, other two are nulls. So actually it is a type of multiplexing. We are incorporating all this into single channel or single communication path, but we can easily distinguish whenever you are multiplexing these three subcarrier signals through the channel. At the receiver side, you can easily demultiplex because there is no ISI, because we can at a particular point only one maxima occurs, but all others are at a null point. So from the figure you can see, even though there is overlapping, there is no ISI, because these multiplexed signals when received can be easily demultiplexed at the receiver by using demultiplexer. So that is the point here. That is the speciality of orthogonal subcarriers. Since we are using orthogonal subcarriers, at every point only one maxima will occur. Other two signals will be occurring at its null point or minimum point. So we can easily distinguish the particular signal. Okay, so it is easy to demodulate or demultiplex at the receiver side. So this is a specialty, and due to this specialty we can incorporate different subcarriers in a particular band without any guard band. So a small separation will be there, that is 15 kilohertz. Okay, so that is a specialty, that is the main point in the OFDM case. Okay, so let us now see what are the applications of this OFDM scheme. And we have gone through 1G, 2G, 3G like that. In the previous modulation technique, we have applications like 1G, 2G, 3G and 4G. And here the 4G communication uses OFDM, and the presently coming 5G also using higher versions of this OFDM. And also the long-term evolution and WiMAX, that is worldwide interoperability from microwave access, and the long-term evolution, that is LTE, uses this OFDM technology. You may notice that sometimes LTE symbol will be shown on your mobile, that is LTE, it will be appearing, that is an internet protocol, that is LTE, and it is also using what? OFDM technology. And ADSL is asymmetric digital subscriber line protocol, digital audio broadcasting protocol, digital video broadcasting protocol, etc. uses this OFDM, that is multiple frequency modulation technique, multiple subcarrier frequency modulation technique. The orthogonal frequency division multiplexing is used in that case. Actually this is for improving the bandwidth. Okay, or it will incorporate more users within a single band. Okay, and for an example, we will get the details of this WiMAX technology. Actually, WiMAX technology will broadcast the data output at a rate of 75 megabits per second. And it operates in the frequency range 2.5 gigahertz, 3.5 gigahertz and 5.8 gigahertz bands. Actually, these are the single channel bandwidth: 5.8 gigahertz, 3.5 gigahertz, 2.5 gigahertz, etc. Single channel bandwidth. And it can broadcast the data up to 75 megabits per second. Okay, so the data rate in that case. And in this case, suppose how we can have a maximum bandwidth of 1.24 gigahertz to 20 gigahertz. In such cases, if we are using OFDM technology in the case of WiMAX, and it may be using different channel bandwidths such as 1.25 megahertz to 20 megahertz like that. Okay, for high suppose complete bandwidth is 20 gigahertz or high, and in that each of the channel has got bandwidth 1.25 megahertz to 20 megahertz like that. And in that case we can incorporate different subcarriers into that each of these subbands, and its number varies from 200 and something to 2048 like that subcarriers. Actually you are not interested to study all this. Actually I am saying for the sake of an example. Okay, in addition each of these subcarriers is modulated using, since there will be different subcarriers, and each of the subcarriers can be modulated by using BPSK, QPSK, 16QM, 64QM modulation technique like that. So this is the case of WiMAX. Okay, and actually you can show the OFDM communication system block diagram like this. Actually it is not a complete block diagram, and actually here you can see the data stream coming from the user, that is D1, D2, D3, and this is a serial data stream. And for processing it simultaneously, we have to convert this serial data into parallel data. So there will be serial to parallel converter, and so that we will be getting parallel data as D0, D1, D2. And for getting this data, for applying different modulation schemes, we have to convert it into different symbols. For that we are using constellation mapper, and it will give you different symbols S0, S1, S6, etc. And you can apply different modulation schemes to this symbols. For that we are using inverse fast Fourier transform. Actually it will modulate different symbols with different modulation schemes. You can you can see the detailed block diagram at the transmitter side like this. So here S0, S1, S0 are the constellation mapper output. It will give you different symbols, and you can modulate S0 with sine 2 pi f0 into t. Actually this is the fast Fourier transform. We are taking inverse fast Fourier transform. Actually it represents a product modulator. We will modulate this carrier. Actually this is a orthogonal carrier, and we will be modulating this carrier with this symbol. Similarly another frequency carrier will be there, and it will be modulated with another second symbol. Like that we can use different carriers, subcarriers according to our design, and we can modulate different symbols by using different subcarriers. So actually this part and this part represents inverse fast Fourier transform section. And from that IFFT we will be getting the parallel data, and this is a parallel data, and this is not indicated here. We will be obtaining parallel data, and this parallel data we will have to convert into serial data for transmission. For that we will be taking the sum of this parallel data. After converting the parallel stream into serial stream, we will take the sum of all these symbols. As a result we will be getting OFDM. That is shown in this diagram, but here it is not shown. Okay, so after this IFFT there will be a parallel to serial converter, and we will take the sum, and as a result we will be getting OFDM signal, and that OFDM signal will be transmitted through the channel, and we will be getting at the receiver side OFDM signal will be obtained, that is R of T. And again actually this is in the form of serial data for processing or for demodulating the subcarriers. From that we have to convert the serial data into parallel data. Again at the receiver side we have to use a serial to parallel converter, and after we will be getting the different parallel stream of data or symbols, and that symbols should be, we have to demodulate that one. So we are taking the reverse of IFFT, so that we will be taking fast Fourier transform. As a result we will demodulate each of that symbols. So multi-carriers will be separated, and actually we will be representing here S0 cap, S1 cap. Actually it is the estimate of the symbols transmitted from here, and then we have to convert it into data streams by a constellation mapper. Sometimes we will be using different modulation schemes here. Based on that we will be getting different symbols, so we have to map into the data stream. That is why we are using into constellation demapper. You may have studied about the in the case of BPSK and BFSK, you may be mapped the different symbols in different planes actually, and that process will be taking place in this case. Okay, and once we obtain the data streams by using this, then we can actually these all will be parallel data, and we have to convert this parallel data into serial data, and we will be obtaining the original data stream here. And here it is represented D0 cap, D1 cap, etc. to D and D2 cap, and it will be the estimate of the original sender data. Okay, so let us see. You can see that the transmitter side initially the data stream is serial data. We have to convert the serial data into parallel stream, so that we can apply different modulation scheme to different symbols simultaneously. And modulation of the data into complex waveform occurs at the inverse fast Fourier transform stage of the transmitter. It is possible for each individual subcarrier to use a different modulation scheme and the role of the IFFT is to modulate each sub-channel onto appropriate carrier. Then there will be the parallel to serial conversion stage, which is the process of summing all subcarriers and combining them into one signal. As a result, we will get OFDM signal. At the receiver side, the opposite process occurs, and first received signal data is converted into parallel stream, then fast Fourier transform will apply on the symbols, so demodulation of the received signal will take place. So the parallel symbols obtained is estimate of the original data, then these are converted into serial data stream by parallel to serial converter. So this is the communication system that is using OFDM system. So whenever you are asked for an examination question, you need to write only about this OFDM communication system, and also you have to write the definition for OFDM. Actually, I started with the FDM and then comes to the OFDM technique. So whenever you are asked for OFDM, you can directly write from the definition side of OFDM. So this part you should write, and from this you can utilize this part, and you can draw these diagrams, this only diagram, and you can use these explanations. Okay, then you can draw this diagram, and then you can draw the block diagram. Okay, okay, that's all about this topic. Thank you.